What's going on, everybody? Articulated Ninja here, and y'all know I like that armored Black Panther, so it kind of sent me down a rabbit hole to try and find some other armored figures for me to add to my collection. And out of all the armored figures for me to come across, I was able to find this guy, Loki. He is literally their most recent release, and as of right now, I can't find one other video on YouTube about this guy. It's like,
halfway.
I'm not sure how I got lucky enough to get him. I found him in my area, but I'm sure a lot of reviews will start popping up soon because he's supposed to be releasing by the end of this month.
What the
I am just excited to have him. I usually don't care for that, try to post things first on YouTube. It's almost impossible, it never works. But here it actually worked and I'm excited, man. Let's get him out the box and see. Let's just see how good he actually is. Let's check out D-ass on this action figure.
Hey, yo!
Pause. I'm talking about detail, articulation, accessories, and size. Where's your mind at?
In a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race, every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way, had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings, but success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down,
Yo, lately for me personally, Sentinel has been next level. Like, this figure is next level, and don't get me wrong, you're also paying a next level price. But you know, next year, it won't even be a next level price. Next year, you know, this will be the same price as a Legends.
Why am I always my own enemy? Stronger is something I wanna be.
But it's here, like the detail is definitely here. You guys seen that nice little montage that I put together, but just taking a look really quick, I just want to focus in on the detail that he has on his helmet right here, just so you guys can see the metallic paint that's on it and see that there's different coats and different shades of gold on this figure. There's like a really bright one that's on his horns, and then there's like a more dulled down version that's on his helmet. Who knows where they're getting their fabric from, but this is one of the best damn cloth pieces I have ever felt. And I have a lot of cloth on my action figures, you know, and I like the cloth that Mythic Legions just started adding to theirs for the most part, but this is like, it just feels next level. Like, it feels really good. The bendy wire in it is really strong. Everything feels sturdy, and the stitching is good as well. On the other side, you can see it's like, it's a different shade of green, so it just, the texture and everything feels different. But on this outside here, damn, that shit is silky. Like, it feels really good. So I was surprised by the cloth because I really didn't care for it, really didn't think it would mean anything or do much for the figure, and it actually does a lot, and I'm surprised about that. Overall, you guys can just see from the pulsers in his leg to his armor. Here is his shoulder piece. It just pops off and it pops back on easily. I just wanted to show you guys the sculpt work and the paint apps on this thing. It's really clean, super clean. Yeah, overall, I think just the detail, just in general, even if we just take a quick glance at his spear, I like the spear that came with the Black Panther, but I don't know, this one, this one to me has more detail in it. It definitely has more sculpt work, but I just feel like it has more detail. This spear is really nice. I don't even think this is a spear. This is more like his staff. Sorry about that. It's definitely a staff. Thinking about, you know, him doing magic and shit like that. Yeah, this is probably a staff. And as far as articulation is concerned, Loki is not Spider-Man. So any Loki-ish pose that I could think of, I was basically able to get him into. Not that there's many, because once again, this is Loki. He's not a kung fu master. He's not, I mean, he is agile, he's fast, but he's still not Spider-Man. But regardless, paying $100 for a figure, I'm not paying that much money for something that has poor articulation or something that I can't move. No, I feel like at that price point especially, I should be getting the articulation without sacrificing any of the paint apps or details or accessories, and I just feel like I got that here, because as far as articulation is concerned, I was actually able to do a lot with him as expected. And just a quick run through really fast. As you guys can see, the head can go up that much, which I'm sure definitely helps when it comes to any flight poses or flying, because that is a really good amount to be able to look up. He can look down about that much. And keep in mind, this is all I'm trying to keep his back straight right here. But if we do start to bend the back down and around, you'll see he'll be able to look down much more further with this ab crunch, because none of the armor really stops that. And that's what I love about this line so far. Like, look how far he can go back. And I'm sure all of this has to do with flight stuff, but this is there's a lot of die cast metal on this figure, so I really just figured it would be hindered in some type of way, and for the most part, at least for me, it's not. And I do some crazy posing. I love my toy photography. Guys, follow me on Instagram, hit me up on Instagram. But look at this waist movement that we have here. This swivel is really good. Just overall, I think everything's really good, considering that I do try to put my figures into some crazy poses as far as toy photography is concerned. And once again, of course, we do have that drop down thigh. This thing is awesome. I prefer this way more than the drop down ball, because the ball hinge in a leg at the crotch area, it's not always done right. Sometimes it's too loose and wiggly, but I like this a lot. He could kick up about that high, and like I said, he's not Spider-Man, but these double hinge knees fold in so good. You know, you might think that he is Spider-Man, but he's not. But I think it is good. It's really helpful, especially when it comes to any crouching poses or anything like that. He has a good foot hinge, and once again, I just want to show he actually can bend all the way back and basically kick himself. I don't know why this is useful, but since I was a kid, I always used to just wonder how far back it can go. So that's how far back it can go. The thigh, everything on it otherwise is pretty good. I don't have any complaints, because this is Loki. Just want to show you guys, even though there is bendy wire in the cape, this top armor piece actually folds up and down. So and it actually holds up there pretty well. It doesn't fall down easily because of the weight of the cape. But as you guys can see, you just pop that up or down, and it'll actually hold this pose really good if you don't want to use the bendy wire as much. But let's pull this off so I can show you exactly how it goes in. It's basically just two pegs that literally peg right into the back. So you're gonna take these two pegs, and you can put them in the top, you can put them at the bottom, whatever suits you best. I put mine at the top. Give me a second, let me just adjust the camera so you guys get a better angle at what I'm about to do. Okay, so like I was saying, you have the two pegs at the top or two at the bottom, whichever one you want to use. I just literally peg them into the top, and they peg in really tight, which is good. That's a good thing, because I didn't want this thing flying everywhere, and I do want it to be able to hold up on its own. Whether I have it on a shelf, you guys can see, you peg it in just like that. Maybe I'm not supposed to have the white showing at all, but I don't want to force it in. And this is the hinge right here. This way it can hinge up and down, and it kind of folds up on the back. So that's why I have mine on the top peg, so it folds up on the back higher. And once you fold it in on the back, it should be fine. These are the armor pieces that they pop on and off pretty easily. Now that I'm trying to get it off, it won't pop off. Okay, so this is the armor piece, and I showed you guys earlier the paint apps on this thing is crazy. If you do take off the armor, of course the arm is a little bit easier to pose. You have more range of motion without having to worry about pop the armor off. But overall, man, it's $100 figure basically. The articulation should be good at this price. But let me not say that too loud, because with the way that these companies are just doing whatever they want to do, and people just continue to buy regardless, yeah, I don't want to jinx it. But the articulation overall is pretty good. I really don't have no complaints. This is actually the most posable Loki figure that I've ever had in my collection. And just to show you guys, it does have that ankle hinge right there. This way you could pop the armor forward to just get more range of motion by his ankles. So overall, yeah, I think the articulation's good. No complaints. Basically, as far as hands are concerned, this is what we get. I don't have any complaints. I feel like all the hands are good. I'm kind of used to getting spoiled with certain lines like Action Force, and where they just throw in a shit ton of hands. But here we are paying, this isn't that price. Here we are paying a certain amount of money. We should definitely at least get this many hands. And I do count the cape as an accessory. It does not come on the figure, and the figure still looks nice without the cape. And then we have his spear, aka his staff. So here's all the accessories that you're basically getting at this price. I do feel like they could have threw in something else. Oh, and let me not forget the flight stand. So he does come with a really good flight stand, but we have the cape, the hands, the staff, and now the flight stand. I do wish they would have given him some little daggers. I like his little sword daggers that he uses to, it's Loki, he's supposed to stab you in the back. It would have been nice for them to include some type of small daggers that he actually holds, but they're not here, and everything that is here, I'm okay with this. Next time, I hope they give him more than one weapon for the most part. And here he is next to some other armored figures that I got. I do wish Thor was a little bit bigger. I don't want Loki to be smaller. I don't want T'Challa to be smaller or the Black Panther to be smaller. I just wish Thor was actually a little bit bigger. I don't have a video of him up yet, but I will be doing a video of every Sentinel fighting armor figure that I have so far, because like I said, I did fall down the rabbit hole. And here he is next to some other random figures. On the left of the viewing screen, we have a McFarlane figure, then we have a Marvel Legends Ultron, then a Rurouni Kenshin figure that I got that I really love. I love that Rurouni Kenshin figure. And then we have a Mythic Legions. And here he is next to some Legends, and I like the scale a lot. That's right, this line, for me personally, it scales really good with other 1/12 and 6-inch scale figures. Legends, Action Force, Classified. It scales really well for me. I like his size here. I like how big Thor is. This Sentinel figure is not too big, not too small. I like him like this. And I just wanted to show him next to actually my favorite version of Loki. You know, we just call her Thick E, but you know, with an I, get it? Loki, Thick E, and yeah, whatever. I'm corny, I know. But this just goes to show, this is one of the reasons why I like these Sentinel fighting armor figures so much, because they're in scale with everything else. I think the scale here to a Marvel Legends female is really good. And even when we leave Marvel and go into some other lines like Classified or Valorverse, I feel like the scale here is good. He's a guy in a suit, so he is a little bit bigger. He should be a little bit bigger, but it's not too big. So my final thoughts on this figure is I love it. Like, this line makes me happy. This figure has made me happy. It's still keeping the same quality as the last release, which was Black Panther. I don't feel like it's declining at all. And I know some people have the outlook of like, okay, well, why would I want all of my heroes in Iron Man armor? That takes away from the individuality. But there's so many different multiverses. There's so many different universes. DC has Earth 1, Earth 2, all things like that. And for me in this universe, there could just be so many stories and so many reasons as to why all the heroes for the most part are wearing these futuristic suits. And also, if I take the pulsers away, I mean, sure, the eyes say Tony Stark, but the suit, it just looks like a futuristic high-tech version of these characters. Because if I pop a Marvel Legends head on here or something like that, it just looks like a futuristic Loki, and that's what I love. It's not until I actually look at the pulsers in the hands that I say to myself, okay, this is definitely Stark inspired. But if I take away those pulsers or I don't acknowledge them like that, it's just a really futuristic suit. I said the same thing with Black Panther. And as far as the Spider-Man multiverse is concerned, there's so many of them in so many different outfits, and I feel like that can be done for almost every hero for the most part. So it's nice that I'm seeing it done for Tony Stark here, Iron Man. He's not in my top 3 or 5 superheroes, but I just do like the way that this looks so much because there's versatility. Like, just looking at this just looks like futuristic versions of Thor and Loki to me. I don't have to only make it what the company tells you to make it. And on that note, I tell you guys all the time, don't listen to what the companies tell you to do. When you put it on the shelf, when you make it your own, it's okay. Create your own story, create your own world, your own universe for it. It can be your own thing, because these guys look great together from a futuristic version of the Avengers that, you know, maybe they survived some crazy ass apocalypse and that's why they also wear these suits. Or one of my favorite universes aside from the zombies is, imagine if the Avengers lost, guys. Imagine if the Avengers lost and these are regular people inside these suits. You pop regular civilian heads on and these are regular people that are still trying to fight the good fight, and Tony Stark left suits or remade them with Shuri in Wakanda. There's just so many different universes where this works. But I think it's dope if the real heroes weren't in these suits, but these suits were made to function with the powers of those heroes. And now we got regular people trying to fight the good fight like the heroes they loved would have. Maybe it's in honor of Tony Stark, who knows, but make it your own. And on that note, this Loki body alone by itself is just nice. Without a doubt, just the body alone, this armor suit looks dope. And I'm a 90s baby, so you know what I think of, you know what time it is.
It's morphin' time! Dragon Sword! Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go, Power Rangers! Mighty Morphin Power Rangers!
Yo, I love the way this Green Ranger looks with this armor on. This looks dope. Like, this is a modern rendition to me. This looks like some AI art generated Green Ranger. I like this a lot. I was having a conversation with my little brother and he was like, yo, that Black Panther looks like a modern Power Ranger suit. Like, just put the black helmet, and I was like, oh my God, you are so right. This is dope. This looks nice. Thanks, bro. Toy photography and army buildings, all that I need is action figures. Toy photography and army buildings, all that I need, action figures. Don't buy me a thing, I told my girl that all that I need is action figures. Exclusives on my mind, so I won't stop until that figure's mine. And if you feel the same in life, subscribe and stick around for action figures. G.I. Joe, classified, Marvel Legends on my mind, Valorverse and NECA time, Mythic Legions I must find.